Hello, and thank you so much for tuning into this video on growing your pediatric practice, 5 digital best practices. Over the course of the last year, we've seen many healthcare practices find challenges because of the pandemic. We've seen appointments decrease. We've seen patients have more concerns about coming to the office. And this has really impacted pediatric practices even more than many other healthcare practices. A recent report released by UPMC of Pittsburgh in May of 2021 found that over the course of the pandemic, there was a substantial decline in care visits. In 2020, in the heat of the pandemic, primary care visits were down 60% right at the start. 7 months later, they were still down 17%. The report went on to find that preventative visits were down 53%. So families, parents, caregivers were nervous to bring their children in for preventative visits. It also found that problem-focused visits were still down 31% 7 months into the pandemic. So again, people were concerned with bringing both their child in for both well visits or sick visits. What was interesting, though, is that they found that most healthcare practices had rebounded and recovered by October of 2020, but pediatrics didn't. They found that among children 5 years old and younger, visits still remained below pre-pandemic visits. So we need to do a better job of educating families on the importance of coming back to the practice, getting in for those both preventative and sick visits. So what caused the decline? Well, the report went on to find that, potentially fewer children were experiencing illness. This could be because of the absence of childcare or in-person school and a decreased virus transmission rate. Also, there was an underlying fear of bringing children to the office. And with less organized sports and less in-person school, those sports-associated visits for different documentation, physicals, things like that, declined. The challenge is that there's pent-up demand for all of this, and we could potentially see an influx if we do the right things. Another challenge is that total vaccinations dropped. So there were 3 million fewer total vaccinations ordered by mid-April in 2020 compared to previous years. So again, there's going to be pent-up demand. And as pediatric practices, we need to do a good job with our digital outreach efforts to get in front of more people. What we found is that the telehealth side of things has grown exponentially. So people are more comfortable talking to physicians digitally, doing their research digitally, and identifying practices that they want to be part of digitally. So it's very, very important that we have a strong digital marketing plan for our pediatric practice. Now, I want to go through 5 keys to improving your digital marketing for a pediatric practice. And the first key really is building a stronger online presence, and the core of that starts with your website. One of the biggest issues I see with pediatric practices is that their websites aren't current. They don't properly position your practice in the right way. They don't carry through a strong level of trust. You don't introduce the physicians and make people feel comfortable before they even walk in for a visit or consider scheduling a visit. They also don't have resources for patients and families to, again, solve some challenges and build awareness, build trust, build comfort. So it's very important that you look to improve your website. You probably invest a lot of money in waiting rooms, waiting areas, your facility itself. But think how many people actually visit your website compared to walking in the front door of the facility. It's way more. So we need to invest some of those resources into making our online presence better. We also need to educate the market and provide a reason for someone to come back to your website. And this is an example of a practice that we're working with that's using our Pediatric Resource Center. This is a plug and play tool that can be added to your website that takes your website from just an online brochure into a deep, helpful resource. It has over 50 great articles, and we add to this every month. It's got infographics. It's got great content for a wide range of ages and presents your website as a true resource instead of just a brochure. So this gives people a reason to come to your website to begin with, to engage and stay on your website, and then with strong calls to action, we take people on to the next step of actually scheduling an appointment. So there's a great opportunity here to immediately, just with the flip of a switch, turn your website, your existing site, into a great resource. And this can have big effects. By adding this to this particular practice's website, we saw page views go up by 80%, over 80%. So if you build a great resource, families will engage. Okay? And this is families that are part of your existing practice and also new families. The next thing that I want you to consider is getting social. So social media is a great opportunity for us to get in front of the local market, for us to drive visibility and increase trust. But we need to produce great content. That resource center that I showed on the previous slide gives you the opportunity to have great content and share that content on your social media sites. It allows you to be more consistent in your posting. One big mistake I see many practices make is that they might post something this week and not post again for another week or two. Or they may get into rhythms where they're good for 2 or 3 weeks and post content every day, and then they're invisible for the next few weeks. This gives you the opportunity to consistently and easily post content. I'd encourage you to get more creative and get a little fun. Showcase your internal staff. Highlight some great activities in your local market that are going on this upcoming weekend for children. Present great educational tools and opportunities. Share good content. Outline why it's so important to schedule those well visits and get those vaccines. And then I want you to get your team involved with social sharing. Make sure that they are sharing content on their personal profiles. You know how important it is for referrals and word of mouth. Your internal team can be great advocates for you. By sharing great content on your practice's social sites and having your local staff share on their sites, you're going to get more engagement from outside people too that are going to share that content, tag others, and refer your practice. And social can really deepen existing relationships and help you create new ones. As I mentioned, we are sharing content from a resource center for a local practice, and they've increased visibility and traffic back to their website exponentially. By getting more engaged in social media, they're driving almost 79% more users, more individual people back to their website every single month. It's a great opportunity for you to, again, deepen existing relationships with current families and create new relationships. Next, I want you to think about getting reviews and being proactive about this. Reviews are extremely powerful, both for validation and for search engine optimization. It's a great opportunity for you to make new potential patients feel much more comfortable. People trust reviews at an alarming rate. There's some stats that say people trust an online review as much or more as a review from a personal friend or family member. Here's an example of a practice we're working with that's using our reputation management tool. So basically, they are using this tool to go out and survey patients about their experience. And it's really simple. They ask for a rating, a star rating, and then they ask for one little sentence or paragraph about the visit. But as you can see here, just over a year, they've created almost 1,000 first-party reviews and testimonials. These are embedded right on their website. So when somebody does come to their website, we're driving a lot more traffic to the website, they're visiting this page for validation. They're looking at this to make sure that this practice is trustworthy, that other people have a great experience. Not to get too technical, but there's something called schema markup on the back end of this widget on their website. So this is telling Google that this page is all about reviews. Google pulls this right into search results. So you can see the star rating of 4.9 out of 5 right in search results. Reviews drive visibility, they drive trust, and they attract new patients for your practice. And they don't just have to sit on your website or sit in Google. You can repurpose these reviews. Here's a great example. For this practice, we're collecting all of this amazing feedback, but then we're turning this into social content with engaging images that are really thumb-stopping. So we're posting these to Facebook, we're posting these to Twitter, to LinkedIn, and in this case, Instagram. Instagram is a great platform to get in front of young and growing families. It's something that your pediatric practice should really consider. It's a great opportunity to really build trust, build awareness, and highlight your practitioners. Number 4, I want you to consider investing in SEO, which is search engine optimization. So what that really means is we want to show up in Google search results more often when somebody's searching for a pediatric practice in your local market. This is especially important for pediatrics when potentially 1/18 of your patient population leaves every single year. We need a consistent influx of new patients and new families. One way that we can get in front of new patients and new families is to do really well in search results so that when somebody is searching for the best pediatric practices in a local market or a city, you rise to the top. If you can get better search rank and you've invested in your website so that you have a really strong website conversion path, you're going to get more new patients. This is exactly what we're doing with the pediatric practices that we work for. We make sure that they have a new patient request section on their website. We're using that pediatric resource center to get people into their website to begin with, and then have strong calls to action to learn more, request a new patient visit, fill out a quick form. And in this case, we saw a 58% increase in new patient requests, and people are now spending double the amount of time on their website. So new families are spending double the amount of time on the website, and they're converting at a much higher rate. There's a huge opportunity for you to drive value for your practice and increase new patient requests. And number 5, our last tip, be everywhere. There's no single silver bullet solution for you, but a good digital strategy is going to leverage content, social media, search engine optimization, and some paid advertising to help make sure that you're everywhere for patients and potential families. Again, we want to engage with your existing patient census so that they're not afraid, so that they increase their well visits, they get there on time. We want to make sure that we get in front of new people, and we want to make sure that we increase name recognition of your physicians and build trust over time. So we want to be everywhere. If we do this, you are going to see your appointment requests increase. This is an example of a practice that we're working with over a year. They saw 71% increase in appointment requests. There's an opportunity for you to drive more visibility, increase trust, and convert more people that hit your website into long-standing patients with your practice. So if you're ready to grow your practice, I would encourage you to reach out to Barker. Our website is barqar.com. You can connect with us via phone at 888-576-6100. We are working with healthcare practices right now doing all of those things that I just mentioned, and you might be surprised at how cost-effective these things are. We're not talking about thousands and thousands of dollars of investment. We have some great programs for you that are cost-effective, that are reasonable, and can scale with your practice as you grow. So again, reach out to us today, 888-576-6100. Visit barker.com, and we would love to help. Thank you.